Welcome back to Talking Lead. This is episode 103, I believe.
Wow.
Although it's kind of 100 part 3.
Okay.
Because we're still filtering out all of our SHOT Show interviews.
100.3, I like it.
Yeah, 100.3. So we'll just roll with that.
I'm tracking.
We have got a special guest. Left hand, I think he must be like under the weather because he got his haircut finally.
Yeah.
And I think he lost his Samson powers.
Oh.
Something like that. He was not able to join us. And we have a gentleman here. You may recognize his voice.
Sometimes life gets in the way of people.
It's the second member of this show that we've had on the show. And I'm really starting to get jealous because so far both of you, and I know the third member,
Yeah.
y'all have the perfect voice for radio.
Well, I in fact get it honest, and that's where Jim got his start.
Yeah.
So as I'm starting to peel back the curtain a little bit, Zeke in his very elaborate introduction, Jim Scouten passed it on through the gene pool. So I got it honest, man.
Well, and what's funny is you see people like that on TV, or you hear them on the radio.
Yeah.
And you just imagine when you talk to them, they talk like this.
Surely he doesn't talk like that in real life.
But all three of you have that voice.
My entire life, I've been exposed to it. He's my dad.
Yeah.
It's day in and day out. So not only have I developed a really good Jim Scouten impression, right? I can do it.
You came close to it right there.
Jim Scouten. Shooting fans, stay tuned. But he talks like that when he goes to the grocery store, when he goes to Home Depot, when he's wherever, and people will just come out of the woodwork, and you see him kind of look, and they're like, and they look, and then they'll look again, and he'll say something else, and like, all right, I know this guy, and they'll always come up and say, I recognized you because of your voice.
Right.
Yeah, that's what he has to. That's his thing. That's his signature. So yeah.
Well, I know the first interaction I had with him, we were looking for a production company, and I'd asked some friends of mine, are there any program production companies in Nashville? And they told me about y'all's company. I didn't realize that was the Shooting USA crew.
Yeah.
And I go to knock on the door, and right as I'm about to knock, he walks out. He's got his little fanny pack on, and
another signature item.
Yeah, and immediately his voice is that, "Hi, I'm Jim Scout." And I'm like, Well, we just kind of bumped into each other. You don't have to keep talking,
right?
But
no, dude, it's on all the time.
It is, and it's not anything that he turns on.
No, it's on all the time. Yeah, he's cultivated it, and to your earlier point, he started in radio,
right,
back in the 70s. I was born 74 through 77, 78. We lived in Minnesota, and then we moved to Hawaii. And in Hawaii, he did radio gigs.
Wow.
And then got his break into television. And
you lived in Hawaii?
Yeah.
All right,
I'm too young to really enjoy it.
You can leave now.
Well, it had. I learned to ride a bike when we lived in Hawaii, so that's my one memory of living in Hawaii. Fantastic, right? But it had always been radio, and then it was television news. And we moved to Phoenix, and he anchored the television news for the CBS affiliate in Phoenix through the better part of the 80s. Yeah. And that's how we kind of bounced around from television gig to television gig, and then we ended up landing in Nashville.
Yeah.
And that's when we got tied in with the production company that did all of the automotive programming. And that, I think, to an extent, was where he really started to cultivate his persona, if you will, for different television genres. And it was that production company that created American Shooter.
Okay.
And it's an interesting story behind that because they had originally planned and worked with Chuck Connors, the rifleman. Mm-hmm. He was going to be the host of American Shooter when it came out on ESPN back in 93. Well, Chuck Connors unfortunately passed away before they were able to put the first show together. Sure. And at that time, Jim was doing automotive programming for that production company, and they said, hey, you might be a good fit for this. Let's give it a whack. And, dude, that was 22 years ago. And here we go, right? The original gun guy on TV.
So you said y'all had y'all worked with a production company that did automotive.
That's right.
Stuff.
And they're still out there doing it. They were the magazine formatted new car reporting shows.
Gotcha.
Jim hosted for a time. It was called Motor Trend Television. And then became Car
Jim
Driver
actually
Television.
Talked like that in real life.
Oh, yeah.
All the other guys.
And he brought his voice to that.
Welcome to Rivergate Toyota.
So he's got this whole...
it's not that fake stuff.
What is that guy's name that does all those commercials? Dan,
the blonde
Dan,
guy?
what's his name? Anyway, yeah, Rivergate Toyota. If you live in the Nashville area, you know who we're talking about. And if you don't, you could probably Google Rivergate Toyota commercial guy and find him.
And he always has that knife hand
out. Count the knife hands. Count the points. So yeah, it was that. That was the foot in the door, and that's what got us where we are at this point. He had this thing that he would always drop on people. It's all internal combustion. Cars, motorcycles, shooting, whatever. You know, I mean, generally people who enjoy the firearms also enjoy performance cars or performance motorcycles or whatever.
Contained explosions.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it, man. In a nutshell, that gets us to where we are at this point, right? That would actually be a good one.
It would be a good show.
I like where you're going with that. So it's fun. We, you know, as a traditional media outlet, television, right? Mm-hmm. Television is television, but it continues to evolve. And in the 22 years we've been doing it, things like the DVR and on demand and the internet, for that matter, have grown to be stuff, you know, things that people just feel like they should have or they have. You know, I mean, it's almost a weird thing to go out without your phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things. In 93, few people had cell phones. I mean, they were available. They were very expensive, and they couldn't do anything like they do now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can make a phone call, and that's about the extent of it.
I remember when I was a freshman in college, I got a pager.
Oh, sweet.
94.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I had a Beepers Plus pager. Beepers Plus
That's
plug
where
here
I
in
had mine,
Nashville.
too. Yeah.
They've been long gone, dude. You bet. Good times.
Oh, yeah. Now, you mentioned something about on-demand. When is, you know, our outdoor industry, you know, whether it's hunting, competitive shooting, when are the Sportsman, Outdoor Channel, Pursuit, when are they going to start on-demand?
That's an interesting question, and it's well above my pay grade. I wish I could answer that because it's a common question that I get a lot of times from people that I meet all over the place, different events and whatever. Hey, how come you're not on Netflix, or how come we can't see, or when are you going to get into one of those deliveries? And that's a question that has to be posed to the executives in the networks.
Gotcha.
And I'm sure it's on their radar. It can't be. You know, and they couldn't be doing what they're doing if they're not addressing those things. So I would imagine there's probably a plan. It's just I'm down here in the ranks. They're way up there.
And it's one of those things where my wife and I, we watch a lot of shows.
Right.
But we don't watch them when they air. Mm-hmm. We either DVR them or on demand. We just got a DVR. We've been on demanding everything until we realized, oh, well, if we miss 3 or 4 weeks, then it's a while before we can get them on Netflix or whatever. Mm-hmm. But we've been DVRing things, so we never, ever watch shows when they air.
Yeah.
And there's a few shows I like on Outdoor Channel. There's a few shows I like on Sportsman.
Sure.
We don't have Pursuit, so I have no clue.
Right.
But I'd like to watch them, but I don't, you know, one, I don't know the exact time they air just because I'm constantly busy with all the stuff I'm doing. So it would be smart on their part if they did do something along those lines.
Well, in the age of the DVR, it's a rarity to have somebody who actually sits down and tunes in at 8 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday night and sits through everything that is our show. The DVR has changed the way people watch television, and it's completely across the board from my kids wanting the DVR or, you know, whatever the cartoon is that they're watching, to me DVRing like Gold Rush or something silly like that. I won't watch it when it's actually on because I want to be able to fast forward. You know what I mean? I want to be able to get through commercials. I want to be able to get through, you know, and I don't think that applies all the time because there are some instances where there might be a new commercial or a commercial for something that I'm interested in.
Sure.
And I'll watch that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to watch it 6 times.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So the age of the DVR has changed the way people watch television, just as the age of the internet has changed the way people get other information, other news, other entertainment. The age of the podcast.
What the hell's a podcast?
Yeah, exactly. It's radio-free internet, man.
It's radio on the computer.
It's awesome.
It's what it is.
Right. That's a pretty good one.
We set up at a couple gun shows when we first started trying to generate some listeners, and it was so funny. People would come by, and we're in the South, you know, and there's a lot of older gentlemen that go to gun shows, and they'd come by and be like, "Talking Lead, y'all sell ammo?" And no. What are you? We're a podcast. What in the hell is a podcast? I don't know how many people came by and said it, so we had to explain you can listen on the radio, on your phone, on your computer, anything like that.
Available anytime.
Yeah.
Not at this time.
It's
not like when Dave Ramsey comes on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Start listening, stop listening. No, it's on anytime you're ready to listen to it.
It's on-demand radio.
Right.
And it's awesome for us because what most people don't know is we really suck, and like every other word with John and I right now have been like 10 seconds of dead air. I just get to edit it all out.
That's not true. We're carrying the freight right now.
We are.
Yeah.
It's going well.
Yeah.
Recently, Mike has left. And
yes.
He's gone on to bigger, better things.
Yes, major vertical step up
literally
for Mike
bigger,
Irvine.
better things.
Oh, I'm not kidding you. You know, he had an opportunity to go and work for Boeing, and that is a huge vertical leap for him in terms of his career. So he's still doing.
Well, see, I was being a smartass and talking how planes are bigger than guns. But.
Well, that's true too. And you know, as a shorter guy, you know, it's nice for him to be able to take a few vertical steps. There's another jab at my good buddy Mike.
He got short jabs while he was on the show.
Every time,
ago,
everywhere, always. The little guy. Where's the little guy? Your buddy, the little guy. Oh man. So good things for Irvine. Tremendous opportunity in life, takes him closer to his parents and his family, and he's producing and hosting the internal executive videos for a global company.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Multi-billion-dollar companies. Hopefully it's going well. I haven't heard from him here in the last little bit, but we still catch up on Clash of Clans. He's part of my clan, so
nice.
We clash.
I had to delete it.
Did you? It's a time consumer, man.
It's addictive.
It's fun.
Yeah, and when you get your credit card bill and iTunes charged $60 in a month, did I?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. 60 is light compared to some of the stories I've heard. A couple of the pro shooters who will remain nameless have spent well into the four figures on their Clash of Clans stuff, which you know. I can't really justify that.
That's crazy.
What did you get for that?
You can buy an Xbox One and like 5, 6, 7 games.
Right.
For less than that.
I know. Yeah. Well, there you have it. So yeah, Irvine still has a bit of a presence. He did a lot of work ahead of this departure to make a transition for Impossible Shots. So you'll still be seeing him in some episodes as we go forward. But we have some things coming in this new season with some new people who will be the new face and the new voices of Impossible Shots.
Nice.
So looking forward to that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then you're talking to this other weird, freaky guy.
Yeah.
He's like Sasquatch looking.
Continuing to integrate new faces and new voices and new takes into the Shooting USA brand as well, because Irvine left a hole there.
Right.
And so we've got...
that hole is so small, it's hard for me to fit into.
We've got this very popular...
will I have to be on my knees to make it look normal yet?
Not at all. Not at all. We have the capability to actually film Mike's height and your height.
Okay, all right, good. Just making sure.
Zeke Stout is going to be doing some correspondent work for us. That's Zeke Stout. I'm mentioning you in the third person as I speak. John Scouten will continue to do correspondent work and production work.
Nice.
So yeah, let's just get back out of the third person mentions and carry on. But yeah, looking forward to that. We're going to kind of dip our toe in that at the NRA convention coming up here in Nashville, which is exciting.
We will not film my toes.
No, we won't.
At all.
No, it would be best if we didn't.
No, it's ugly.
Yeah, and I generally try to wear shoes on camera, too. So that's a good rule of thumb. It's one of those things you don't really think about, but it's important to mention.
That's true.
Yeah. Shoes, pants.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an exciting experiment. I know you have the chops. I've seen some of the things you've done on the interwebs before.
But I don't have those chops.
Well, you could certainly carve them out of that fantastic battle beard.
When I played basketball, I had those, but mine were like more pointy down kind of thing, almost like little blades coming. But
I wore the beard to SHOT Show this year.
Yeah.
I grew the beard over our Christmas holiday and decided, you know what, I'm just going to let this thing fill in.
Right.
And ultimately, I got a lot of good response from it. At the end of the day, though, I had a number of important people, including my wife, say, you know, the sideburns are more like your signature.
Yeah.
You know, let's go back to the sideburns. The sideburns are your signature.
That's kind of like me with a T-shirt and a suit coat.
Yeah.
That's like my
Which is a look. It's a good look.
Shtick, so.
Excellent for concealment, too.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. So quite nice. If you were to decide to go shoot IDPA, it would be an interesting thing. As opposed to a vest, he wears the suit coat.
Yes.
That would actually be pretty legit.
I may do that.
Yeah.
Well, IDPA is supposed to be what you do normally.
Exactly right.
Yeah, so
it's based out of concealed carry. So
I'm not going to wear a plate carrier.
We're looking. No, it'd be best not to. And I think they might frown on that.
Probably.
So yeah, the NRA convention coming up. It's going to be big doings for Nashville. Arguably the largest convention for our new convention center in Nashville in terms of numbers attending.
Oh yeah.
What's going to be interesting for me, having been to several cities, whether or not a contingent of protesters starts to develop here in Nashville, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Nashville is a unique city, and I think we may see some.
Yeah.
I mean, as you know, Nashville, it's in the South.
Right.
We have that Southern charm, but it's kind of got it's not just Music City country music anymore.
Right.
We have a lot of rock artists living here. I mean,
Right.
Johnny Depp just bought a house in Nashville.
Yep.
Hadn't seen him yet, but
Well, yeah.
But there's a lot of people that are kind of coming into Nashville. You got Vanderbilt down the road.
Johnny
So,
Depp shoots, though,
Yeah,
He shoots out at Terrence Place all the time.
From what I hear, he's got the second largest collection in the United States.
He wears some interesting garb when he shows up at Terrence. You can check this out on Taryn
imagine.
Butler's social media feed. You'll find pictures of all kinds of different celebrities shooting with him and different. Some of them, like Michael Rooker, shoots out there with him all the time. I've met Michael a number of times. Now that dude looks like a gun guy.
Merle, right?
Yeah, Merle.
Yeah.
And he can really shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Taryn posted an internet video of him. I want to say 50 yards headshot with his 1911 on an IPSC, on a steel IPSC. And he just holds it and breaks it, and they walk, camera rolls the whole time. They walk out to the target, and it's perfect headshot. And
nice.
That's a shot.
Yeah.
So that dude's legit.
So talking about celebrities and guns is perfect segue into the jackwagon train.
Segue.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the talking lead jackwagon of the week, so brace yourself, baby.
All right, so this week, our jackwagon, talking about the celebrities, and we talk about it all the time. Anybody that's a gun guy, we watch movies and we're like, oh my God, we pick them apart.
Right.
I saw the worst one ever, and it was an old 90, I think it was in 97 or something like that, Species. With,
I think I saw that.
Yeah, where the chick's
The chick, the alien
and
chick.
She's just
what was her name?
Sex crazy.
She was hot, dude.
Natasha Henstridge?
Yeah, it's exactly right. You nailed it, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Points.
But, so we're watching it, and right after she turns into the alien, after she gets done with the guy in the hotel room,
right.
Michael Madsen
Yep.
runs out with his Glock, gets on his knee, and does this like it's an old single action shooter. And what I'm doing with my hands,
yeah, he's fanning. He's fanning his Glock right now.
I'm fanning the hammer on the non-existent hammer on the Glock.
Damn,
it was
that hurts
hilarious.
My feelings. That totally hurts my feelings.
Oh my gosh, I lost it. I was like, you got, and I rewound it, and I was like, yep, he just did that. He just did that.
Unbelievable. Well, maybe he was having multiple malfunctions, and he was just like quickly clearing malfunctions.
Please let there be a hammer.
Like,
please let
one
there
after
be
another malfunction is trying to like stroke his rear sight to clear a malfunction. Maybe that was it.
We'll give him that.
I don't know.
I doubt it.
That's sad.
It's Hollywood.
Wow.
And you would think, I mean, he's been in enough movies where he's handled guns, where he knows the difference between a single action revolver and a Glock.
I'll tell you what would be an interesting thing to dig into is who was the armorer on that particular production, and who allowed that. Because the armorers are gun guys.
Yeah,
I know several of the guys from the ISS and before that, Stembridge Gun Rentals. Mm-hmm. Those dudes have to know their craft. First of all, to make sure everything's safe, but second of all, they come in to an extent with a role as a firearms handling person to make sure that dumb stuff like that doesn't happen on camera. So it would be interesting to know what jackleg pulled that together.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Now, some of the better ones, and we've talked about that on the show, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but the Kevin Costner 3 Days to Live or something like that.
I don't think I saw that.
Recently. I think it came out last year.
I missed it.
Really good gun handling stuff. Magazines were running out after
more and more
or
lately.
15 shots. And
They're paying a lot of attention to that more and more. It lends itself to the credibility. I had an interesting experience at last year's NRA convention with my much smaller, more compact mixing board that I was recording at that time, the Shooting USA podcast, and I had Lorena Noveski on with me.
Nice.
And she and I had not met each other before, and we were talking about Johnny and the Noveski brand and carrying on not only the highest end of firearms that they produce, but at that time they were also discussing a new ammunition that they were going to be co-branding. And it was an interesting thing. I, in the rush to get it going, hadn't hooked the record deck to the computer. And I was looking at the meter on the computer, and the meter on the computer is catching the PAs. So the meter's moving, and I'm thinking, we're going, right? And we're like 8 minutes into this thing, and out of nowhere comes this crazy, like, electronic feedback through the board, through the PAs, and the crowd of people standing around in the booth at last year's convention are like, gosh, my ears. And so I immediately slapped the main volume down, which killed everything.
Right.
But that caused me then to realize that I had not been recording the podcast in the first place, which was a major screw up. So we took a minute. We laughed about that. I plugged everything in properly, and we started over. It was one of those. It was almost. I want to kind of say without sounding like a weirdo, that maybe Johnny was listening, paying attention, and he's thinking, "Hey, dude,
He said, "Nah."
you're not doing this right. Let me help you figure this out, idiot, before you waste any more time with my wife."
Well, I think that's a common podcast and even radio mistake.
Yeah.
With our episode we did with Hickok 45, everybody knows him. He's got 1.6 million subscribers now.
Amazingly popular.
Yeah, huge. So it was our 4th episode. We're excited. We're like, oh, wow. Because at the time we had like 30 listeners. We're like, whoa, we got 30 people listening to us and we don't know who they are.
Right.
So we're excited. He comes on the show. I'm watching the levels, kind of like you said.
Yeah.
I'm seeing them move. So I'm like, okay,
We're good.
It's
Yeah.
going good. I get home to edit it and we sound like we're in a cave.
Huh.
And what I realized is I didn't set the input on my computer to be input. It was
Right.
output. So it was recording through
Off
that
the little microphone.
itty-bitty microphone
Yep.
there.
Yep.
And I put it through all kinds of levelating processes.
Try to boost
and
it up or
everything.
whatever.
It didn't work. But, I mean, still, we had 4,000 listeners on that episode, and we were just like,
Oh, wow.
oh, my God, what just happened? And
Well, there's that cross-pollination between a guy
It's
who's
true,
got
man.
a huge back,
Yeah.
a bunch of people waiting every day to see
Yeah.
what he's going to put out on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And they'll follow him wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's like
fantastic.
he has become the Google of guns on
Yeah.
YouTube. It's like if you type in anything on YouTube, typically he has
Yeah,
a
he
video
comes
of it.
up. I watched this thing the other day where he was shooting, I think he was shooting a 45.
Right.
And he's bouncing a basketball in the other hand.
Yeah.
And he's making this shot and he's continuing to bounce the basketball. So, a strong hand only shot. That's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not easy
Have you,
to
have
do.
you met him before?
I have.
Yeah, he's taller than
And
me.
I was amazed. At SHOT Show, he appeared in the ATK booth in the big, and they have that little stage set up, and
Sure.
they have the bleachers where people can sit and listen as he did a demo, and it was kind of a Q&A thing, but he had a huge crowd of people
Oh, yeah.
come to see him and talk to him and, have that Q&A. I'm sure that will be multiplied at least tenfold when you get to the NRA
Oh,
convention.
yeah.
It's,
Well, especially with it being in Nashville.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
from this
'Cause he's
area.
here. Yeah.
And that's another thing. Well, we'll go ahead and pitch that out there. We're doing it's kind of like an impromptu. Well, now it's a sponsored impromptu.
That's awesome.
Nashville Gun Media Party.
Right.
It's going to be
Tin
well,
Roof,
the first
Demumbria.
part, right?
Yeah.
Tin Roof. Oh no, this one's going to be the Broadway Tin Roof.
Right.
Yeah, so right there, there's 2 tin roofs.
Oh, there's one on Broadway.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They
So
opened
no,
2
scratch the Demumbrian.
Yeah, there's 2 tin roofs now. There's one on Demumbrian. It's not that one.
Okay.
So 7 to 9 is going to be a private event for kind of like our sponsors and different people.
Right.
After that, it'll be open to the public, but it'll be upstairs at Tin Roof on Broadway on that Saturday night, which is the 11th, I think.
Where exactly on Broadway is that? Landmark that for me.
You know where from Bridgestone to 2nd, it's about halfway.
Oh, okay. Headed towards the river.
Yeah,
Out of.
towards the
Oh,
river.
okay. Wow.
Yeah, so it's walking distance from the convention.
Neat.
But yeah, so that'll be fun. We'll have, Talking Lead will be there. You're going to be there.
I'll try my
most
best.
Likely. We're going to keep forcing you. We'll
I know.
ride you until you show
I
up.
know. I will do my best.
Then we'll have Hickok 45, Reaper Outdoors. Of course, Doug Daddis used to play for the Tennessee Titans. He lives here. Going to talk to Adam Mattis at Orion's Kin,
Cool.
the hunting show.
Yeah.
There's a ton of gun media.
I met that guy, the Orion's Kin guy.
Yeah.
I met his photographer at an event, and what a cool cat, man.
Yeah.
And I went and followed, looked into because he was describing to me what he does.
Sure.
So he was asking me what I do.
Yeah.
And I went and looked at what they're into, man.
Yeah.
The whole fitness aspect of hunting,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
And the 2 hunting shows that we really connected with over this whole thing are Orion's Kin. They've got that unique
Yes.
fitness aspect. And then Reaper Outdoors.
Yes.
Which is kind of like a dual survival meets hunting,
Yes.
which is really neat. Because, if you end up in a dual survival situation or any of those Discovery channels about survival, you're going to have to kill your own food and take care of it.
You bet.
Well, they kind of touch on it.
Right.
Well, the Reaper Outdoor show says, no, you're on a hunt.
Yeah.
And that's what your survival is until you get exfilled out of there. So it's kind of neat. The 2 that we've connected with is not just, the guy in the deer stand going,
Not a typical whisper show.
here comes a deer.
I see him.
Here you go. For 30 minutes.
Wait now.
We love you guys, too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's room for everybody, and that's the good thing. The more firearms, the more hunting, the more content like this on the television, on the internet is better.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
The more we broaden our demographic, the better we're off for the whole Second Amendment fight.
Agreed.
There's a lot of people, that listen to our show that are, nobody lynch us, they're Democrats.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can be conservative on certain aspects, and you can be liberal on other aspects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's you don't have to necessarily identify across the board conservative.
No.
You can have guns, and I don't know. I don't want to get into the politics discussion.
We try to avoid politics on the show all the time. So, what do you have coming up after NRA?
I'm having just had 4 straight weeks of travel. The Smith & Wesson Indoor Nationals, the IDPA Indoor Nationals at Smith & Wesson, Massachusetts, followed immediately by it was preceded immediately by the Bushnell Brawl down in Kingsville, Texas, a Precision Rifle Series match.
I thought you were going to say like cage match.
No, that would be awesome.
A name like Brawl.
It is a bit of a brawl, though. There were 35-mile-an-hour sustained winds, and folks were working down there. It was tough. I participated in that. It was excellent. So that's kind of my new thing, is shooting these precision rifle games. They're pretty fun. But coming up immediately following the NRA will be a trip back out to Las Vegas to the Desert Sportsman's Team ranges for the USPSA Multi-Gun Nationals.
Okay.
Pete Rensing is putting that match on this year 100%. He's running it, designing it. He's designed it the last couple of years, but now it's entirely his baby. So it'll be fun to see how this thing really gets clicking. And it's always a great place to go. We always stay out there near the Red Rocks, and it's just a really, really good match and a really good location. Who doesn't want to go to Vegas?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you don't just film stuff. You actually compete in them sometimes.
Yeah, I shot Multi-Gun Nationals last year.
Yeah.
It was fun. Did okay. Had a couple of bright moments surrounded by some mediocrity, but it's always good. In this case, it's not yet clear if I'm going to actually load up my whole kit and go out there to shoot.
Right.
We'll see. That's one of those things.
See, I would have a couple of mediocre moments surrounded by suck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's like we were talking earlier. As soon as you start taking yourself seriously and all of this, it's not going to go well.
No.
So, if I can show the club level guys that, hey, I can do it. I can get out here. I can improve.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to be the best. I'm not going to be running in the top 2%. Right. I'm not going to be Jerry Michlik. I'm not going to be Mike Voigt. I'm not going to be Taryn Butler.
Right.
But I can improve, and I can take notes from those guys, and I can do things to make my game within my skill set better. That's the key, and that's what we're trying to get across to the audience when it comes to covering these matches and then participating in them is, these guys are the best ever. I know it's intimidating because they're the best ever, but there's there's 20 guys at the top, and there's 400 guys that fill out the rest of the slots in this match, and there's plenty of room for everybody at every skill level, and it's fun, and you will get better.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. You will improve. So once that's over, a trip for the Revolver Nationals, that's going to be in Barry, Illinois. That's a one-day event. It'll be an interesting thing, start to finish in one day. Then I'm going to turn around from that and go to the Bianchi Cup, which is one we never miss, and that's always fun. Yeah. It's like almost like homecoming because it's the same place every year and more people every year. Nice. The richest handgun tournament.
That's in Nevada, right?
No, Bianchi Cup is in Missouri. It's in Columbia, Missouri.
Why did I think that was in Nevada?
So I don't know. That's weird.
I don't know.
So once we get through that, I can start to kind of taper off because all of these events are lead stories. And with Mike working for the airplane company now, I got a lot of writing on my hands.
I can imagine.
In addition to travel and going and getting the story, you got a couple weeks after the fact for each one to make the finished television product out of it. So it's good though, not a complaint. We're running lean right now, and it's going well.
Well, and something you said that's one thing that's appealing about y'all's show is y'all come across as an everyday guy that can go out and do this stuff. So it's like you said. People are like, oh, I can do that. And that's kind of what we wanted to do with our show is we're a couple of idiots. We want to learn as much as we can about guns.
Right.
And we've learned a ton, but we still are just like everybody else.
Well, it's an interesting thing. My friend Paul Markle says, you are a student of the gun.
Yep.
And everyone is a student of the gun. As soon as you feel like
you're friends with Paul Markle.
I like Paul.
Oh, my God.
Paul's good, dude.
And Jared, that other guy?
That's his boy, isn't it?
He's such a dork.
No, he's all right. How are you going to hammer those dudes? I like those guys.
We love them to death. They're good friends of ours. We actually did a experiment where we recorded both shows at the same time interviewing each other. Turned out pretty good.
That's cool.
They did their edited version. We did our edited version. It's
Interesting.
Fun. No, good friends of ours.
Edited podcasts.
Yeah.
I never edit the Shooting USA podcast.
Really?
And people have asked about that. They're like, this doesn't sound like you edit it. And I don't. And
see,
I hit record, and when I hit stop, that's the end of it. I drag the music onto each ends of it, and that's it.
See, that's why I love guests like you, because you can talk.
Yeah, well,
there's sometimes,
you got to carry the freight, man.
Yeah, there's sometimes where it's like, hey, so what do you got going on?
Dead air.
Guns.
Can't do that. You can't do that.
So what kind of guns? I like rifles.
I do too. I like precision rifles, as a matter of fact.
It's just like, come on,
keep on with it.
Yeah.
Keep on with it.
Paul and Jared, good guys. But yeah, you were saying student of the gun.
Back to that point, we're all students of the gun. And as soon as you think that you know everything, or as soon as you feel like you've learned everything, you haven't.
Yep.
And that's when bad things start to happen. That's when you're taking yourself too seriously. That's when you're not willing to accept something that's new. That's when you're not looking at a technique or a piece of technology as something that's beneficial.
Exactly.
And you can't be closed-minded in any of this, especially our industry.
Yep, you'll get run over quick.
Yeah.
There are 5 questions that we ask everybody. That comes on the
sweet.
show.
Okay.
So, how did you originally get in firearms?
That was my dad.
Really?
He, at the age of 7 years old, when we had just moved into the Phoenix area, and we lived out where we could access desert, and we had ATCs, man. We had 3-wheelers, Honda 3-wheelers, and we would go into the desert, and he still has this particular Smith & Wesson. It's a 22. He called it the kit gun. I think they called it a kit gun. It has a model number. It's I don't know the model number, so I don't want to try, because people who know Smith & Wesson model numbers will be like, "Oh, he's wrong. He's wrong." But they called it the kit gun. And
not on the internet. Nobody ever does
No,
that
never.
stuff.
Little 6-shot rimfire revolver from Smith & Wesson's. First gun I ever fired. And he always had an interest in it, and we kept firearms in the house. We never had any type of exposure to competition until he did a story for the news outlet that he was one of the anchors at. He did a story on a police. I'm not sure if it was a PPC event, but it was police challenges. So it may have been a PPC event. I don't know. I was still young, but we went to that, and I stood there in awe. I just thought, oh, this is the coolest thing ever.
Nice.
Watch how fast these guys shoot. And as a kid, major impression. So, there was a lull as, I got into the teen years. But then once American Shooter started and we were at all of these events all of a sudden, then it was just like open doors in every direction.
When did ESPN take that off?
They had it in 93, and it was an interesting thing. I want to say it lasted for the portion of the second season is when ESPN was bought by Disney. And they came across with this whole, there will be no firearms advertising on our networks.
Wow.
We will not allow that.
Right.
And that basically was a dagger in the heart.
Right.
To finish out that second season is kind of a funny story, because Colt at the time was the big marquee sponsor.
Right.
Well, Colt was still owed some advertising. So they creatively made up a commercial to order the Colt catalog for Colt branded clothing, right?
Nice.
So it's a commercial with a bunch of guys in Colt shirts.
Yeah.
And you order the Colt catalog for the Colt branded clothing. Oh, and we'll also slip in there the Colt firearms catalog also. Yeah.
Nice.
So that was the beginning of the progression that led that particular marquee to TNN at the time, the Nashville network. But I'm off topic, dude. We're doing our 5 questions.
So, military law enforcement experience?
Me, no. My brother, current 2nd Battalion Ranger.
Okay.
Yep.
Has there ever been, or is there currently, a firearm in your arsenal that there's a little part of you that's kind of embarrassed to say, yeah, I've got one of those, or had one of those?
Yeah, man, it's hard to. Honestly, I'm not embarrassed by any of my guns. I have one of the short-lived Smith & Wesson semi-auto shotguns.
Okay.
They came and went very quickly. That was a gift for everybody in the office one year. Mine runs great.
Yeah.
A couple of others that folks had didn't run so good and got traded. Mine's great, though.
Yeah.
It's never failed me. Killed a bunch of doves with it. It's awesome.
Is there one you had and you wish you had back?
That's an interesting question, too. I won in a raffle at Range Day. I think the first year they did Range Day, I won a SIG 226 Blackwater Edition, 9mm.
Yeah.
And I traded that. And I wish I still had that gun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was sweet.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Money's no object. Laws, nothing. Don't worry about it. What would be your ultimate bucket list gun?
Money, no object.
Yep.
Probably a Vulcan.
A Vulcan.
Yeah, one of the anti-missile guns.
Oh.
They just for no real reason other than
Just to
it's
say you have it.
insane. They and the funny story is, I mean, it wouldn't be practical at all. You'd have to have a vehicle dedicated to carry it around,
Right.
probably like a 1-ton dually truck that would just carry this thing around because it's
Sure.
mounted on battleships. But for the movie Armageddon, when we were inside Stembridge Gun Rentals, they had one that they had cut down to go on the front of the rover
Right.
in the movie that they put on the asteroid or whatever.
Sure.
And it was firing. They had converted it to fire 12-gauge blanks,
Gotcha.
and full of powder and whatever. And it was just the craziest thing because the guy touched it to the car battery and it started spinning and clicking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, every one of those click, 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 click. Every time it's clicking, that's a shot. And then things 20. I think they're 20 millimeter.
Wow.
They're nasty.
That would be.
Yeah.
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 All right. There's another thing we do. We haven't done it in a while, and somebody called us out on Facebook the other day.
Handstand push-ups.
Yes, that's it. You can do them. I can't.
I'm good. I got them, dude. Let's go.
No, EDC check.
Well, it's new. It's the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380
Okay.
in an Uncle Mike's inside the pocket, kind of like a wallet style.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been carrying that. I got it for Christmas. That was this year's Christmas gift.
Nice.
And super sweet little gun, man. I got the Hornady critical defense ammo in it.
Yeah.
Plug Hornady right quick because
Yeah.
this ammo
Yes.
is nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no candy.
That's what I've got in my VP9 right now.
That's a fun little gun.
Yep.
Prior to that, it was always my hammerless J-frame.
Okay. Revolver guy too. Huh?
I mean, they run.
Yep.
And then wintertime, now converted to the console, is my Salient Prepared G30 45.
Nice.
That thing.
That's one of the guns on my list of I wish I had back was my Glock 30.
Yeah.
And I had it tweaked out a few different
Yeah.
ways. So
Yeah.
miss that thing.
EDC check.
Yeah.
Dang, and I forgot my. I just got a trilogy from Grindtech.
Trilogy. Is it knife or?
No, it's a little knuckles setup.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Just got that, like, I don't know, I was on my way to Puerto Rico and I was sitting in the airport killing some time and they
Yeah.
had it on sale, so I ordered it. Should have brought that.
Nice.
And then a Microtech out the front.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got my my HK VP9. I've been carrying that a lot lately. It's a little bit bigger. I'd love it if they came out with a sub.
Looks very stylish in the Kydex you wear
Yeah,
on, too.
yeah. Kydex is from Silco Kydex holsters.
Very nice.
Out of Colorado. And they did a great job with it. I love this thing, man. Have you shot one yet? Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Good shooter. Good shooter. Comfortable, too.
What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun?
Yeah.
As in, like, hobby-wise?
Yeah. You do anything to get your mind off of work or whatever?
Used to be going to the range.
Right.
But now that's work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you're a doctor, you don't want to talk about medicine afterwards.
Right.
Movies with my wife.
Awesome.
Has been like, I need to get back into running, man. I used to be a triathlete.
Triathlot a lot.
Triathlete.
I used to do triathlots
It's
a
a
lot.
unique sport. It's you go to a car lot and you just run around it and swim around it. And yeah. No, I used to be a triathlete, so I did that.
Really?
Haven't done it in a while. As
Big into the biking,
you can tell. Yeah,
even.
man.
Wow.
Yeah. The best sports I had in that was swimming, of course, because I got paddles for arms.
Yeah, sure.
And the biking. I sucked at the running.
Awesome.
But at least I finished. So I was actually the 10th ranked Clydesdale triathlete in the Southeast region
Really?
at 1 year.
Good for you.
I think it was in 08, 07, 08, something like that.
That's no joke, dude.
Yeah, then I got fat.
Then life happens, right?
Kids.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy work. And I know that sounds crazy, but I love business. You know, I dive in head first and enjoy it, especially now doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
What about you?
Anything the kids are up to.
Yeah.
I coach a U12 soccer team
Yeah,
for my
nice.
stepdaughter. And so as much as I'm in town, I can do that.
Yeah.
CrossFit. Rule 1, if you're into CrossFit, you talk about CrossFit.
I did it for about half a year once.
Yeah.
And I just quit.
I've been about-
I didn't get burnt out or anything. I just stopped. I think it was because it was so freaking expensive.
Well, it's costly, and that's one of the things when I first started into it. One of my first coaches, I was like, this is pretty expensive. It's like,
Yeah.
I $150 a month.
Yeah, that's what I was
to
paying.
come in here. $150 a month, and he's like, yeah, $150 a month, but how much is your health worth?
Yeah.
How much will you spend on your health?
Right.
How much will you spend on your life? So
Yeah.
that's one of those things. It has translated and translates very well into the shooting.
Sure.
Especially when it comes to the practical sports, because it's dynamic movements and things like that. If you're adept and you know your body's capabilities, you can maximize those.
6'7", 300 pounds. I don't have many capabilities.
At 6'7", 300, you're more of a person mover.
Right. I just like Hulk smash.
That's awesome.
And that's it.
You're
Just
a
run over
big
people.
dude, 6'7", 300.
I know.
I'm 5'9", 190.
I'm starting to feel the weight though. The older I get,
Well,
I'm turning 39 at the party actually.
good for you.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. But
The next one's the ugly one, bro. Trust me.
the next one will be 39.
I'm waist deep in
And the
40.
one after that will be 39.
39 forever, son. That's right.
I'm just gonna freeze.
I'm in better shape now than I was when I was 25. So there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
40-year-old John could whip 25-year-old John in a heartbeat.
I wish I could say that.
Yeah.
But basketball had me tip top.
Pretty
much.
awesome.
Actually, I take that back. I was probably in better shape doing the triathlons.
I believe it, dude.
Yeah.
As far as having your motor right,
So,
and having your wind.
33, 34.
Yeah.
That was probably when I was in my best shape.
So what are the chances of getting Zeke Stout to go shoot a club match? Like shoot a multi-gun or shoot a carbine match, something like that.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do anything.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That is, if you want to take away, you say going to the range is fun.
Yeah.
Going to the range is work to an extent. Well,
Right.
going to a club match and interacting with other people and shooting under the stress of a timer.
Right.
It changes the whole.
And I'm competitive as hell
Oh, dude,
anyways.
it'll get you running then.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
I've done one actual competitive shooting match. We did a fundraiser for Ryan Newman in North Carolina, the NASCAR driver.
Yep.
And we did a steel match.
Sweet.
And we got down, me, left hand.
Oh, so this
So
is like
me,
steel
left hand.
challenge
Yeah,
shooting?
it was a steel. Well, it wasn't like an official sanctioned one.
Right, but it was steel targets with a stop plate
Yeah,
for
little
time.
flop down ones on a horse.
Oh, okay. So like
I think there were 6 on each side.
I got you.
it
So
was
plate
me.
rack race.
Yeah, so out of 20, 30 people, the final 4 were me, left hand, a Navy SEAL, and Ryan Newman. the
With a
NASCAR
draw.
driver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Head to head too.
Yeah, it was on the table, heard the buzzer go.
Oh, on the table. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and it was fun, man.
It is fun,
It got
isn't it?
intense. The first few times I was like, yeah. But then I was like, I'm not doing too bad. I beat 2
Right.
people. I'm
Right.
going to keep going.
Right.
But it was fun.
That's
I enjoyed
pretty
it.
sweet.
Yeah, I'd love to get into the match shooting.
Well,
especially the club course and everything.
we're centrally located right here.
You want to talk about some good content from Shooting USA? Film me shooting my first match.
It'd be a hoot. No, it'd be good, actually.
And
No,
just have like a little counter for every time I trip or
Right.
fall or get disqualified.
No. Man, there's just only one DQ.
Yeah.
No, but being as close as we are to Rock Castle,
Yeah.
they've got a monthly USPSA match.
Yeah.
They do precision matches up there on a regular basis.
The
They're
Nobles
doing-
up there, great
Oh,
people.
fantastic,
Great
man, those
people.
guys. But then we also have North Tennessee Practical Shooters out in Dixon.
Okay.
USPSA club.
I didn't know that.
Then there's Tactical Response, which I know you've been down there to those. They apparently have run their first 3-gun match now.
Really?
Eagle Eye in Manchester is doing a monthly multi-gun match.
Nice.
So there's plenty of opportunities. For me, the trick is, number 1, am I in town?
Right.
Number 2, do I have something else going on with the kids?
Yeah.
Number 3, can I get away from the honeydew or permission list?
Exactly.
If I can get that trifecta to come together,
Yeah.
and there's a match,
Yeah.
now
You're
we
going.
got something. We're going to do it. So
I feel
it's good
you,
times, man.
That's one thing in this industry. It's really cool and it's fun, but at the same time, it's a lot. There's a lot of traveling.
There's always something going on.
There's a
dude.
lot of traveling going on, but I enjoy it. But same thing. As long as I'm in town, nothing going on with the kids.
Right.
I coach their basketball teams, but that's
pretty
all
awesome.
over. That was fun.
Pretty awesome.
Stepson's team went undefeated.
Nice.
Daughter's team, I think we went 4-2.
Nice.
So it was fun. Yeah,
That's
had a
always
blast.
cool, man. So where are we at time-wise? What's the format here? How long is too
I
long?
usually try
How
to get
short
an
is
hour.
too short? An hour's good?
But here's the thing: I've got some leftover SHOT Show interviews.
Oh, who should we intro from your SHOT Show interviews?
You know what? Let's just intro SHOT Show interviews because I have no clue what I have left.
Keeping it real, folks.
Exactly, always. I think that's why people listen, just to see where we screw up next.
I wouldn't call that a screw-up. I would call that you and I juggling. Continue to
Exactly.
juggle.
You have to, or we could just do this.
Looking back into the archives, recorded in Las Vegas at the 2015 SHOT Show from the Sands Convention Center. Here's somebody.
Do we have to pay you for that?
No, dude.
All right, sweet.
I was hoping there'd be coffee. I tried to stay on the positive, but there was no coffee. We didn't have coffee. You're not a coffee drinker?
Well, we are in the super secret Talking Lead headquarters. We've got these baristas behind us. I should have had them working, huh?
Well, maybe they're on break or something, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Here's what I know: if I'm invited back, I'll stop off when I get off the highway and get a coffee.
Next time you come, you'll stop off and then you'll show up and I'll have coffee ready for you.
That'll be awesome too.
Then it will be a 2-hour show because we'll just keep going on coffee.
I love it. I love it.
Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely.
I think I'm looking forward to doing this at NRA.
It's going to be an interesting experiment. I look forward to it. And anybody who's listening who's going to be at the NRA convention, please look for Zeke when he's in front of the cameras.
Yes.
Because this is a test to see.
Give me just come up and start heckling me.
I don't initially heckle. Come up, observe, maybe take a photo.
Yeah.
And then if he starts having trouble, then heckle.
Just tear into me.
Right.
Yeah,
this is a learning and a building experience. Exactly. This is how you're going to get better, and I'm so excited to see it happen.
And what's awesome is it can possibly prove that YouTube can get you on traditional tube.
Well, that's that traditional tube. Watch on traditional tube. Now, this is the cross pollination of a very popular new media brand and. I don't want to call it old media. We'll call it traditional media.
Traditional media.
So we're all going to get together, and we're going to make both of our brands stronger for it.
And I know the listeners were like, oh, thank God it's over, but I'm going to go a little bit into that.
Okay.
Shooting USA, correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen it, is probably the only traditional media outlet in any industry that has really reached out to a new media type personality or personalities and kind of try to bridge this gap.
Yeah.
When I was talking to David Reeder with Breach Bang Clear and Recoil,
right,
we were both kind of like, I don't think anybody's done that. You think to any of the music channels or big networks, you don't really see it.
Yeah, I honestly haven't tracked it, haven't looked into it, because I don't think we consciously decided, hey, we're going to go get somebody who's big in new media.
It
just so happened
an accident
that we struck up a conversation. We're chit chatting. We talked about let's cross promote the podcast. Well, then I was going to invite you in for one that we were going to record at the Smith & Wesson booth at SHOT Show, and you ended up with your elephantitis of the leg or whatever it was. And ended up in the hospital, which is no laughing matter.
No,
Zeke was pretty sketchy for a couple of days out there in Vegas. So definitely hand sanitizer, folks. Everybody, wash your hands really well. Try to protect yourself from cuts, things like that.
Don't play tough guy.
Yeah, don't be cool.
If you have anything weird, go to the doctor.
For real, that's not a joke. But I think that was what sort of started our conversation about cross-pollinating our brands. It wasn't anything calculated, and who knows? But I think those that have taken their traditional media brand and tried to create something in addition to that to penetrate new media have not had the level of success that the long-standing new media brands like yours have. And that's what's different about this.
I think it's going to be cool. And I think the way the conversation actually went was I'm walking out the door.
I had bourbon.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about when you came to the office?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
I'm walking out the door, and I'm like, well, what are y'all going to do now that Mike's gone?
Right.
And it was, I swear.
I don't know. You want a job?
It was really weird. It was like they practiced it and they scripted it. But he and Jim at the same time looked at each other and go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I was like, that was cool.
Yeah.
but weird.
I think my exact words were, I don't know. Do you want a job?
Yeah. There you go.
Anyway. Here we are now.
Yeah, exactly. Or at least through NRA.
Yeah. We'll see, right? We'll see how this Zeppelin flies.
So if the NRA coverage that comes out on Shooting USA, if you fail to see Zeke, he froze.
Well, I promise you this, whatever it is, we'll see the light of day somewhere.
It'll be somewhere.
Good or bad, it's going somewhere.
It may be Mystery Science Theater 2000 now on some YouTube channel.
That show's hilarious. I used to watch that show back in the day, and we were talking about this because the photographer I took to Puerto Rico, his son is now totally addicted to that show. And I was like, I had no idea it was still on. I used to watch that with Tom Servo and Crow T. Robot. Dude, I was all about that show. And
it's still on now?
Yeah, apparently, his son watches. I don't know if he's watching on the internet or
maybe
what.
Reruns or something?
Yeah, apparently it's still going
too,
on. Yeah, with the movies where they sit there and heckle the movies. That show's hilarious.
Yeah.
There's a plug.
Yeah, exactly. We want to thank our sponsors. We've got SDI.edu School of Firearms Technology, where you can go and become a certified gunsmith, get your associate's degree in firearms technology.
True.
We have Savoy Leather, probably the best leather holster maker for artwork. The stuff he puts on holsters is unbelievable. SavoyLeather.com, spelt SAVOY. CantuBrennerDesigns.com for caliber pin creations of all kinds. 1776 United, the artificial shoulder pocket. You go to asymmetricstechnologies.com to find them. And anything you want to plug?
Oh, shootingusa.com, everybody.
What's that?
It's a website about our TV show.
Y'all got a TV show?
It's pretty cool.
Holy crap.
It's okay. If you
I'm
like
going to be on a TV show?
you like shooting sports and new products and instruction from professionals related to those shooting sports, shootingusa.com. Shooting USA Outdoor Channel Wednesday nights. You'll love it.
Yeah. About the only thing
Or
I
you
ever
won't.
watch on there anymore.
Maybe you won't.
You'll love it or you hate it.
Yeah,
That's your new slogan.
I don't
Shooting
know.
USA. You'll either love it or you will hate it.
Hopefully we'll keep doing it. Zeke's going to be a part of it. You'll love that one way or another.
And as always, everybody, keep your loved ones close.
And your firearms closer.
All right, guys, welcome back to our 100th episode, and we are at the 2015 SHOT Show, and we are sponsored by the Artificial Shoulder Pocket, the ASP. Check those guys out at asp.co. And we've got a special guest in with us today. We've got Caleb Causey, and Caleb is with the Lone Star Medics. I met you through Rob Pincus.
Correct.
The other day, and we got to talking, and what you do is very cool. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Tell us a little bit about your SHOT Show experience so far, Caleb.
SHOT Show's been it's wild. Every year, it
to
gets,
say the least, right?
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can tell my voice is already starting. I'm losing my voice already, and it's only day
You got that
3.
good radio voice now.
Yes. So there's
it's
me
just
and
kinda
Elvis
settled in, right?
Exactly. So I'm ready. But no, yeah, it's. I mean, SHOT. It's the cool stuff. It's the cool people you meet. It's meeting folks like y'all and being honored to be on the the 100th episode.
100th episode.
100th
Yeah, man.
episode.
This is our 100th episode.
See, I can't speak.
2 years.
I mean,
100 episodes.
that's the cool. I got goosebumps on my arms thinking about it. We just met the other day. It's just meeting good people, the networking. It's not social, but it's business.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
work. People come out here. Yeah, we party and it's cool. You see all the
But
cool
it's
stuff.
like-minded individuals that have the same goals in mind,
Absolutely.
Everybody's pushing and promoting the firearms industry, but everybody's doing it in a positive way. And everybody seems to be over-accommodating and wanting to help you and whatever you're trying to accomplish. And if they know somebody that can help you, maybe they can't, then they're going to say, hey, you need to go talk to such and such.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just a constant, hey, you need to go here. You need to be here. And
right.
by now,
Or if there's an event going on,
or an
it's like,
event
hey,
going on,
you really
you want to go to that
should
party?
be there.
You should be at this place because so-and-so is going to be there, and they can link up and help each other's business out. And that's, like you said, the common goal is helping each other out. I mean, even their competitors, I call us, hey, we're all colleagues. Yeah, I don't tell trade secrets with everybody.
Sure.
But I have no problem. Everybody's helping each other out. And it's kind of unique with this, sometimes a lot of Type A meat eaters under one roof with firearms.
Absolutely. So, talking about the parties, have you been to any good fun parties since you've been here?
This year, of course, I went to the ITS Tactical party. And they always have a good time, and that's all been this year. Honestly, I think this afternoon I'm going for the first time. I've had some Marine buddies that have, for the past 6 years, I guess, or however long we've been here in Vegas. They want to take me to the Leatherneck Club, and I've said no. I'm former Army. I'm like, no, I'm not going to a club full of Marines. The only thing that may save me is me being the medic and being Doc.
Right.
And so I'm looking forward to that tonight. We're going to go there, have a beer. It's a museum.
So you're going to Leatherneck tonight?
Yeah, we're going to Leatherneck Club.
Sweet. You're going to have to let me know how that is.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not invited to that, but that's.
You come with us, man.
No. I'll let you fend for yourself.
Yeah, thanks.
We got a common friend, Rob Pincus.
Yeah.
So tell me how you got hooked up with Rob and
I met Rob.
PDN?
Yeah, PDN,
Okay,
Personal
I didn't know if it
Defense
was
Network.
ICE or if it was PDN.
He's a jack of all trades.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know which one you were a part of.
I'm a contributor with Personal Defense Network.
Okay.
We've got we did the full feature DVD. I think it's like 72 minutes long. That's a good thing. So a lot of good information there. But then also, it's just been an honor to be a member of that network of those other instructors.
Which DVD was that?
We did the medical one.
Do you know the name of it? So they can go online and buy it?
It's the only medical one.
Okay, the only medical one. There you go. So
emergency medicine. I can't remember the exact title, so
that's fine.
That's my fault.
We got smart listeners. We got smart listeners.
But if you're on the Personal Defense Network website, you'll find it. A couple of articles we've done. But I met Rob. I want to say about 4 years ago at the tactical conference that Rangemaster hosts.
Yeah.
And through a mutual friend, Paul Gomez, the late great Paul Gomez, introduced us. And Rob, my first impression of Rob was insane. It's a good thing.
He's insane.
This man's crazy.
That's mine too,
but I was presenting, he was presenting. We're all hanging out, and Moss was there, and a couple of these big names that I've always read their articles. And these guys, they're all these big time folks, and here I am in the mix with them, and he and Tom Givens, those guys, and I'm like, okay, I'm hanging with y'all, and Rob jumps and says, hey, Claude Warner's doing his 38 Specials, snub class. Let's go shoot that together. And I was like, who are you? Me? And he said, I'm Rob Hincus. Okay, cool. I'm Caleb. He's like, well, let's go shoot that together. I need a partner. And I'm thinking, I've never had to.
He's not shy, is he?
He's not shy. No, he'll go up to anybody, including big bearded guys, and say, let's go shoot together. And he said, we'll learn together. And I show up at Mr. Warner's range, and we start shooting. I'm not a wheel gun guy. I've never had a formal training and education on running a snub.
Right.
And this little snub, I said, Rob, I don't have a gun. I don't have ammo. I don't have a holster, nothing.
He's like, don't worry about it. Come on.
Exactly. He said, here, you can have my spare. And he dives into his truck and hands me a spare pistol. And he says, hey, and he looks around. And again, it's the industry, the community. And he said, hey, anybody got a holster for a snub nose?
Yeah.
And two guys raised their hand and took off their belt. And, now he needs a belt that'll fit the holster. Somebody threw ammo at me.
A prime example of the type of personality that we're talking about in this industry. I mean, they're just bend over backwards, go up to somebody they don't even know.
Yeah.
And
say, let's go
hey,
shoot.
Come on, get involved.
Come get involved. We went, Claude.
You don't have it, I've got it here.
Yeah.
Let me help you out.
I mean, long story short, Claude ended up trying to basically kick me off his range because my target looked like bird shot, and then Rob's shooting right behind me on, the next volley. And, of course, his are all, puppy feet.
He's like, here's how you do it, kid.
And I'm like, wow, thanks. And he's like, I thought you said you could shoot. What are you teaching here? And I'm like, medicine. He's like, well, I hope you're a heck of a lot better medic than you are shot. And it looked like bird shot pattern up there, man. And,
that's funny.
But Rob, and the other contributors and the other guys and girls involved with PDN, it's just been great.
So Lone Star Medics is the name of your company. Tell us what your classes involve, or different classes that you have.
Sure. Lone Star Medics is a field and tactical medical training company.
Well, first let me back up.
Sure.
And you may get into this as you're talking about it, but tell us your background in the medicine as well. So obviously you're former military.
Correct.
Army.
Yeah,
soldier.
I did. I started my, medical career, if you will, in high school. Sixth-generation Texan, so that's a big thing where we're from. But
so if Zeke were here, he's
exactly.
He's from Texas. He was born in Texas. I'm going to say he's from Texas, but he's been in Tennessee more than he has in Texas. But
and I through high school, the Boy Scouts of America program had the Explorer program. I got on with the ambulance, rode out with the ambulance in downtown Fort Worth with MedStar, and it was great. I thought, this is awesome. I get the same uniforms. We get to ride in the back of the ambulance with the patients and going, lights and sirens down the roads. And other Explorer posts may or may not have had that same experience, but we were very fortunate. After high school, I ended up in the Army, did 4 years. Let me back up. It wasn't like the judge said, you've got two choices, son. Okay, like a prison sentence, okay? No, I volunteered about a year after high school.
Go or jail.
Yeah, you go to jail or you go to the Army. I guess I'll take the Army. But no, I volunteered as a combat medic for 4 years on active duty and went to Fort Sam for medic school, went to Germany, was stationed there, did 2 tours in the Balkans, the places like Albania and Macedonia and Kosovo. And proud to say I served with the 82nd. I got attached to the 82nd.
Right.
And then also I was with the 212th MASH, the last MASH in the Army.
Really?
Yeah. So that was that was cool.
That's got to be like a staple in your...
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of pride there.
Your bonnet.
Exactly.
I like to mix metaphors.
Exactly. And so came back to the States after the tours to Fort Polk, where I was with the opposing forces unit there with Geronimo, and got out. I was doing odds and end jobs. Friends and family hired me out to do, different jobs and stuff, and I was needing that camaraderie, and I found it at a firehouse. And got on with a local fire department outside of Dallas, just inside Dallas-Fort Worth area, and spent 6 years there. During that 6 years, I was worked on the engine. We had an ambulance. We had the dive team. And then also I managed to get on the finagle my way onto the SWAT team as their medic.
Cool. Are you on the dive? Do you dive? Are you scuba diving?
I do, yes.
Certified?
Yeah,
Me too. Awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. Good friend of mine's my instructor. That's the only way I do it. I hate going underwater. I'm really good at diving.
Are you like claustrophobic or?
No, it's just it's not enjoyable, but I'm
You
really
don't
good
enjoy
at it. So he keeps bringing me out to do more, training and more dives. And he does public safety diving with firefight underwater recovery. And he's and Kyle's teaching me, and he's the guy taking me to the Leatherneck Club. Actually,
Oh,
he's a
okay,
Marine.
cool.
So, but long story short, did 6 years there. Worked for a few PMCs, but whatever they're called, private contracting company or whatever they're called this week. But mainly stateside work, nothing overseas or crazy or really cool. And about 6 years ago this February, some friends said, hey, well, you need to go get your paramedic. You need to go to school. Okay. And when I was there, they'd managed to take a 14-month class, cram it into 10 weeks.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And I thought, oh, cool, I'll sign up for that one. That's a great idea. I was so wrong. It was a great school, great class. We learned, it was just absolutely jam. You're studying 24/7. Made it through the class, and in fact, they recruited me to come back and be an adjunct instructor. And I said, I haven't even learned this stuff yet. And they said, no, you'll be all right.
Yeah,
so
you'll
they
learn
spent 11 weeks, 11 and 12 were spent learning adult learning styles and stuff, how the adult brain learns. And I thought, well, I should have taken the advanced class first, being 20-something years, 30 years old, and not having, not going to college, being an
Right.
adult, having to learn how to study again. It made it rough. But came back home, some guys at a local shooting range at TAC Pro Shooting Center said, hey, well, the ROs were like, well, now that you're a big-time instructor, why don't you teach us some first aid? I pulled an 8-hour class out of my hat and out of the aid bag,
Just
literally.
threw something together.
Some stuff I had, quote-unquote, acquired from the military over the years.
Yeah.
And
They gave you that free of charge, didn't they?
let's just say I earned it.
Yeah.
I earned it.
Yeah.
And so here we are 6 years later, 20-something classes. We're traveling all over the U.S., trying to get international, teaching folks
Awesome.
field and tactical medicine of all levels.
So Lone Star, how long has Lone Star been in existence?
Lone Star Max, 6 years.
So 6 years.
Yeah,
So
it
you
was.
started it up then.
Yeah, it was this coming February is 6 years. I
So you're
can't believe it.
Doing 20 classes a year, is that right?
Honestly,
Or you have 20
I don't know.
different kind of classes?
I've got 20 different types of classes. We've
Oh,
got classes
wow.
for
So you're doing way more than 20 a year. Yeah.
I'll have to look. I don't know my stats. I don't know what my numbers are, but which is bad.
And you're traveling all over the United States?
Yeah, we take the show on the road. We've got 1-day classes, 2-day classes. A lot of guys here in the shooting industry, they like taking the Medicine X class.
Mm-hmm.
So think of it as like the scenario. It's very scenario-based driven type of learning.
Yeah.
We talk about things. We practice them a little bit down on the floor. Then we go hit the range, and it's live fire scenarios.
Right.
And a lot of people, they say, I'm quoting a student here last year, and he said, Caleb, this is no joke, and this is his quote, this is a training orgasm. And I don't know if I can say that here.
That's a pretty good endorsement.
Yeah, that was really great. Yeah,
No,
and
you
I
can
said,
say that.
I need you
Oh,
to
yeah,
put
you
that
can
on
say
my
that.
website, man, and can I use your name?
You
He's like,
should.
no, don't, but no one's going to believe me. He said, no, I get to practice communication with others because we do one-person, one-man, two-man, and 4-man teams on these scenarios. So think of a
Right.
3-gun stage, IPSC, IDPA stage,
Mm-hmm.
but you've got a X number of pounds. I'll never say how much Rescue Randy weighs because it doesn't matter. He or she is
They.
heavy. Yeah, I respect its privacy.
Them.
And we put them down range, and
Yeah.
you've got to basically fight your way. You made the scenario maybe, hey, we're sitting at dinner with our family, and active killer starts up, or it's we're for some violent attack. How do
Yeah.
we solve it?
You're in a mall.
You're in a mall,
something
and
like
so
that.
we'll put a lot of no shoot
Sitting at a
targets
traffic
up.
light.
Yeah, and you get to implement your firearms training.
Yeah.
Your see if your equipment works. If you got two or more people in your team,
Right.
Communication under stress.
So are you civilian oriented? Is that what your classes
Absolutely.
are for? Or
Civilians,
do you do
law
law
enforcement.
enforcement, military also?
So we've had some active duty guys and girls come through the classes over the years,
Right.
but a lot of it's been your CHL holder, and
Right.
your prepared citizen. Honestly, that's been
Very
our
good.
biggest demographic. They're like,
Yeah.
we don't want to be the medic. What do we do until the medic
And
get
so many
here?
people, I mean, they get so caught up on their firearm training. They want to get better and more proficient, and with their handgun defense and whatnot. But they don't really think, all right, if I get in one of these situations, I'm liable to get shot, or somebody is going to get shot, and I'm going to need to be able to perform some sort of a medical service to either myself or to a friend or family member that's around me.
If you look at let's call it a fight, a gunfight, knife fight, fist fight. It's a fight.
Yeah.
Show me any video where during a fight no one got hurt or injured.
Well, even a fist fight, yeah.
A fist fight, you know. The combatives, that's a whole other thing we can talk about later. 2014 was Caleb learning that he doesn't know anything about combatives. But there's a combat medic proverb, if you will, and it says the most effective medicine in combat is superior firepower. And if we take that as civilians and say, okay, well, yeah, I wish I could call, this is me, fire for effect. Well, that's one thing, calling for air. But when it's me and my family in my home and bad guy kicks in door and wants to get it on, fine.
Right.
Here, we go to guns, we solve we stop the threat, but maybe it's my family members in the house that got hurt somehow, or they were attacked in the parking lot or whatnot. We just not only have to survive it, but thrive.
The odds of you getting in an altercation, something like that, are very slim. Somebody falling down the steps or somebody getting hurt while you're on a hiking trip or whatever the case may be, the odds of somebody needing medical attention are greater than you getting into an altercation, with your firearm.
Absolutely, it is. I mean, I ask in my class when we start, especially if we've got a bunch of, I don't want to call it gun folks in there, but, firearms enthusiasts. I said, okay, well, how many of you were involved in a gunfight this last year?
Mm-hmm. No hands.
Maybe one or two, maybe some guys and girls that were like, well, they just got off active duty or something.
Okay. Well,
I'm like, you guys don't count. You've been over there, and taking out, bad guys, so that doesn't count. But no hands. And I'll say, okay, how many of you saw car wrecks or were involved in car wrecks this week?
Exactly.
Every hand goes up.
Yeah.
They saw it on the freeway going to work, and I said, okay, think about that. You not commute. Mm-hmm. I mean, some people work from the home. I get hurt going from the bathroom to the office, the spare bedroom. But you're traveling with other people, high rate of speed, car accidents. CDC says blunt trauma is second to heart attack is a number 2 killer in America is blunt trauma. Next to heart disease. So that you look at their studies further. Car wrecks, like you said, absolutely. It's and that's what we want to try and teach is applicable medicine.
There you go.
Everybody wants to learn how to suture. Everybody wants to learn how to do the needle decompression and all this advanced stuff. I'm like, well, and IVs and
gunshot
stuff.
wounds.
The gunshot wounds. I'm like, okay, well, how many gunshot wounds you see the past 10 years?
Yeah, exactly.
None. Okay, let's talk about car wrecks then.
Yeah.
Let's talk about diabetic emergencies. Let's talk about stroke. Let's talk about heart attacks. How to use an AED. Right. Those things. That you're right. That's where the key is. That's where a lot of that's medicine.
Yeah. I mean, how many times you felt helpless when you've seen an accident, you've gone by an accident, and you're like, man, I wish I could do something.
Yeah. I've never experienced that. I'm a pretty good medic. But.
Well, yeah. So.
But no, we hear students say that all the time. They're like, why? But
that's my point. I mean, it's the medical training is I think is probably one of the most important training that you can do.
Sure.
Bar of all the training that you can do, medical, I think, is
I agree.
The key. Yeah.
I agree.
Oh, absolutely. Of course
no, I think it was Carl Wren. He and I were talking, and he said to some other students when I was finishing up a class, he said, guys, I've taken a lot of classes, and he has. You can check Carl Wren's resume. It's impressive. Over the years, he's taken everybody's pistol or carbine classes and shotgun classes, and he said, in my shooting career of competition shooting, defensive shooting, taking a medical class has probably been the most important and most applicable class I've ever taken.
Absolutely.
And he said, I've used what I've learned from Caleb and a few other people 10 times more than I have from any other shooting class. So it's applicable. It applies to us, all of us.
So if somebody wants to sign up for one of your classes, how do they do that?
Check out LoneStarMedics.com. Mm-hmm. Our Facebook page as well. We're always putting up deals there and letting know where we're going to be, where we're going to be on the road. But the website, LoneStarMedics.com, has the schedule up. We've got out to the summer already posted, and we're going to do more.
Very cool. Very cool. So you guys are on Facebook and all the social media outlets as well?
Facebook. It's that's enough for me to handle it. A website, training, the business, and then one Facebook page is all I need.
Yeah, that's all you need, one.
I think we have Twitter too, but I don't know how that works. I'm that guy.
Yeah. Now, are you guys just doing the training, or do you have products that people can get from your website? Do you have like an online store or anything like that?
For the past couple of years here, we've had students that request, like, where do we get the kits? Yeah. And I tell them all the time, okay, well, we started building kits. We haven't launched our online store yet. We're going to. I don't have an ETA on that.
Okay. But
just being honest.
Something to look forward to.
But yeah, and there's other companies out there that have the kits. So we encourage our students, hey, We tell them, hey, don't go buy the kit yet. Come to the class, learn what you need.
Right.
Then you can be an educated consumer. Or bring what you got. If you've got kits, which everybody should have some
You'll
type
help
of
them
medical
improve
device.
it or something,
Yeah, we'll improve it and talk about the pros and cons of that.
Cool.
But kit selection is a big question, a big thing that comes up in our courses.
Gotcha. All right, so I'm going to ask you some questions that we ask our first-time guests, typical questions. Obviously, you've got some military background, so we've already established that fact. How did you originally get involved with firearms? What's your earliest memory?
Earliest
of that?
would be, I suppose, just like many of us, it was my my parents.
Yeah,
my father
so growing
was
up.
Yeah, growing up as a kid, it was. I still have my first 410 shot single barrel.
Okay, I was going to ask you. You
And,
still have
yeah,
your first
that,
firearm?
And yeah, I've still got. In fact, funny how it was in shotguns. My first firearms I ever bought when I was of age were a shotgun.
Yeah.
But it was growing up hunting and fishing with Dad, and he jokes that we were a family of the '90s. I probably shouldn't put that out there on the air, but the boys live with their mother in their state, but my family they all get along, so we would, when Dad would come in town, we'd go hunting or we'd go fishing.
Being from Texas, it's just a way of life, right?
Yeah, it is. It really is. It was hunting and fishing, and I didn't get into defensive shooting and shooting sports until after the military.
Yeah.
And I was like, I went up, friends of mine, they said, hey, well, you're an outdoor kind of guy. Why don't you come check out this shooting match?
You got a beard? You're not.
Yeah.
you're an outdoor kind of guy.
And so they said, yeah, why don't you come out and check out this shooting match? It's called 3-gun. And I said, what's that? He said, do you have a shotgun, a pistol, and a rifle? I said, yeah. I had no idea what to bring.
Yeah.
I brought probably 10,000 rounds of ammo of all three and every caliber you could think of because I had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
I showed up, and the guys that invited me, turns out they didn't even show up that day.
Oh, wow.
But it's the industry. It's the community.
Yeah.
They all said,
They
hey,
welcomed you.
They welcomed me. I didn't have this, didn't know what times meant or what the commands were for the ranges, but I was there and I was hooked. And I think for the first 4 years that I was out there, even at like TAC Pro, I kept going. I would not miss a 3-gun, and then ended up becoming a range officer out there. And then I would spend my weekends trying to learn.
Are you doing 3-gun competitions?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I would say not even amateur on my good days, but it's still fun. I'm the guy that goes out there, and for me, it's evaluation of myself and my equipment. Where am I at mentally? Just is it relax? It's relaxing.
It's relaxing.
Being around my buddies,
Yeah.
the men and women of this industry, and laughing. I go out there and shoot, and if I do well, maybe I'm loading one shotgun shell at a time during the match. I'm like, why do you do that? I'm like, I'm training, man. I'm not going to win first place, but I'm having fun.
That's right.
And it's aggravating
you're out there
you.
doing it,
and you're off your game because you're worried about me now.
It worked. So when it comes to pop culture, what's your go-to, whether it's a movie or a magazine, a TV show that's firearms related?
Well, Personal Defense Network and Talking Lead, man.
There you go. Good answer.
My first one, came to mind, was I remember in high school reading, Soldier of Fortune.
Yeah.
As odd as that may sound, I was like, what is all this? What are these guys? They're soldiers of fortune, mercs and stuff, mercenary work, and Africa and executive outcome and all these articles and these stories. I'm like, well, how do you do that? You're like, oh, you got to go to the Army. Well, how do I do that? Well, you're 10. You have some time.
You're 10. We'll be waiting.
We'll be waiting for you. Oh, they were. No, it's SWAT magazine.
Cool.
There's several out there. And it's good to see a lot of Recoil. Gosh, there's so many out there.
Yeah, Recoil. That's my favorite. Love it.
And I'm glad to see people like Recoil and SWAT magazine. They keep evolving. Mm-hmm. It's not
keeping it fresh.
Keeping it fresh. They're
relevant.
Relevant. Thank you. That's the word I would use. Is like, hey, what's real? What's happening now? There's all sorts of blogs for the gear and equipment and training.
Yeah.
You got Soldier Systems Daily, Breach Bang Clear. You got PDN. Honestly,
yeah.
There's
absolutely.
There's a lot there to read, and it's a good dark hole to find yourself in. Like, wow, I just spent 4 hours on this one website.
Oh, I know.
But it's good information.
Especially if you get it on YouTube and you start doing something, and it's just like one video leads to another video, and you're like, all right, I got to stop.
Yeah. 3 days later, like, maybe I should shower.
Enough's enough. Or like most guys, maybe I should start my own YouTube channel.
Wow. Yeah. That's funny you say that. We actually just launched our first episode here.
Congratulations.
It's yeah. We'll see how this goes.
Well, listen, man, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's our 100th episode, man.
That's epic, man. Congratulations to you and your crew. Seriously.
Thanks.
That's
my
that
crew
says a
being
lot.
Zeke.
That's more crew than I got.
And unfortunately, he's in the hospital right now.
Uh-oh.
We're managing, but thanks to the Artificial Shoulder Pocket, the guys at Asymmetric Technologies, go check out Artificial Shoulder Pocket. It's the ASP.co website. They just got that up and going. Check it out. It's cool. They got a Facebook page now. Caleb, when's your next class?
This weekend.
Oh, this weekend?
I'm driving down to Austin this weekend.
So what do you got going on next month?
We've got our conference, our second annual conference. It's a 2-day conference, a field and tactical medical conference for the for everybody.
Yeah.
It's going to be in Dallas.
So
that's in the end of March.
That's open to
everyone, yeah.
Okay.
There's no prerequisites. And
how do they sign up for that?
LoneStarMedics.com. You can go right there, the conference tab, and you can see all 23 different instructors, everything from delirium babies to herbal medicine, acupuncture, surgical airways, and we got all sorts of stuff up there.
Cool. So go check out LoneStarMedics.com. Caleb Causey, take his class if he's coming near you. If you don't see a class near you, shoot him an email, and I'm sure he'll be able to work with you and get something scheduled nearby. Caleb, thanks for being on the show, brother. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. That was awesome. Yeah, cool. I hope I wasn't long-winded.